Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Lisa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. So, first of all, congratulations on your new home. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably have questions about what to do after you have bought a house. It's an exciting and stressful time, and it's a great feeling to sign those documents and complete the process.
You're not done yet, though. There are a few things you should do to ensure a smooth transition into your new home. Here are some of the most important things to keep in mind.
Okay, number one, we cannot stress this enough. Please change your locks. Mm-hmm. And that goes for every lock in the house. Front door, back door, garage door, all of it. If there's a garage door code, be sure that you're changing the garage door code. If there is a Ring doorbell, make sure that the previous owner has logged out of the account and properly transferred the Ring doorbell and can't just go on and see what you're doing at your new house. Security.
And cameras. Yes.
Yeah. Cameras. So it's just a safety thing. I think it's super important. And some people put it off for a while. If you have home warranty, you can have your home warranty company come out and replace the locks for you. And it makes it a little bit more reasonable. Every single home warranty coverage varies, but I think the last time I had clients do it, it was just like a base fee of, I think it was under $100. Maybe.
Really? That's great. Yeah, it's annoying to me when you get like a set of keys and there's a different key for every door. Yeah. So usually it's a good way to streamline. I like to have one key for majority of the doors.
Yep.
But also these people may have gotten work done to their house at the end, just before a listing. Other people might have had access to that key, other strangers. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's just a good rule of thumb.
Yeah. When I bought my house, I think it was like a year and a half later, I had people still knocking on the door looking for the previous owners.
Uh-oh.
And one guy even walked into our backyard and then he looked around and realized oh, something's different. There's kid toys in the backyard. They didn't have kids. So he left and then went to the front door.
Weird.
But you never know. Some people don't announce that they move, and somebody could have a key to their house and just be used to coming in.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The funny thing is this house that we're in right now, I don't have a key.
I know. Terrible.
So when the power went out, I had a hard time getting in.
How did you get in? Don't tell us on the podcast. That's a security issue. Tell me later.
Okay. So number 2 is clean the house and consider painting. Hopefully the sellers left the house super clean for you. I would say that happens most time. And sometimes buyers just like to get it clean again just because.
I'm that person.
Was that?
I'm that person.
Are you? Okay. Well, yeah. And you might want to consider painting, say if it needed touch up or you wanted to change colors, it'd be a good time to do it before you move your stuff in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes it so much easier.
They might charge less because they don't have to cover as much and move around things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice clean slate to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just nice to move into a clean, prepped space where, you get to start fresh.
Yeah. And I mean, in that case, if you have any remodeling as well, like change floors or light fixtures, it's a good time to do it.
Especially floors. And in our area, there are a lot of older homes that have popcorn ceilings. Mm-hmm. And I've worked with clients who have said they wanted to remove the popcorn ceilings, but wanted to wait. And I always recommend, please do not wait. Don't move into your house and then plan to scrape your ceilings because it makes the biggest mess. And you just need to get it done.
Yeah, dust will be in every crevice of everything you own. And depending on the year, you never know what's in that material that's being scraped off your ceiling.
Yeah, very true. So if you have any of those projects to do and you can manage to do it before you move in, go ahead and do it now after you've closed.
Yep, good advice.
Okay, number 3 is set up utilities. This can include electricity, gas, water, internet, cable. A lot of times we're recommending that our clients do this before they actually sit down at the closing table and sign documents because then you can just have it transferred and not risk having to pay initial fees for setting up service.
The biggest thing is if you're trying to move in and the utilities get disconnected,
Yeah.
it's going to make your life harder.
Yeah. So this is a great thing to do before, but for some of these items like internet, I have a lot of clients who do wait to do that until after they've closed. So,
but some of these internet companies are booked way out. So definitely call in advance so that you don't have to go too long without
internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we do that? We don't.
I know. Internet is like electricity now.
Yeah, it really is. If I'm ever without it, I'm like,
yeah. When all the power and water went out, at least our kids had phones.
Exactly. They had internet. You could go charge it in the car.
But if that were gone, oh my goodness.
I know. What would they do? I mean, in their defense, it was cold. So
yeah. Very. Number four is familiarize yourself with the home. Locate the main water shutoff valve. This is really important. Back a couple of years ago, we had a crazy bad freeze, and I will say I heard of several people that had no idea where their main water cutoff was, and pipes froze, houses were super damaged. If that's easily accessible, you know exactly where it is. You're going to minimize the damage done to your house. In some of these older houses, they have that big key, which you're going to want to go get. They have them at Home Depot. Newer houses will have more of a handle, which is easier, but sometimes they need some WD-40. Just make sure you familiarize yourself. Oh, and a lot of times dirt gets in there and covers them up. So just that's huge.
yeah.
And then know where your electrical panel is. Make sure you can open it. Make sure you know which is the main breaker. And then also the HVAC system. It'd be good to just go ahead and get it serviced and get on a schedule to make sure you don't have issues down the road.
Yeah. Familiarize yourself with the system. If it's recommended that you do a clean out, put that on your calendar, be aware of all the different things in your house. But yes, especially the main water shutoff valve. I think that one's the most important. And I try, a lot of my inspectors, when we close, they will show my clients where that shutoff valve is at the time of the inspection. So they already know. But if you can't make your inspection, or, maybe your inspector doesn't do that, just take a moment to go find it, because it goes for anything, not even just the winter storms. I've had people have, pipes break for other reasons, or maybe you're hanging something up on the wall and hit something, or, doing a project outside and hit something. So
yeah, if it comes up on inspection that, it's broken, or the handle's broken, or dirt's in it, I definitely, we get that. We get the seller to handle that. That is one thing that I do like the seller to handle, just so upon move-in that exactly how all that works. But a couple other things that if the house has it is a sprinkler system. There's all sorts of different systems for that. I love Ratio if you want to put that on, and you can control it with your phone, but most houses don't already have that. And then swimming pool. Some, if you want to maintain it yourself, there's pool school where they could come tell you how to do it. You could meet with the owner if they're up for doing that, or just make sure your pool guy is there. And but even if you have a pool guy, I've had it where I've known people that it was nighttime and they wanted to go hang out in the hot tub, and it was a new house. I remember I was trying to walk someone through it. It wasn't a client; it was just a friend that had just bought this house, and she didn't know how to work anything. And then the sellers, I think, weren't very nice, so they didn't show them anything. But just they kind of got caught at night where they didn't know how to work anything. Yeah. So it's good to know.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you buy a new car and you get in and you're like, oh, where's that button? I'm used to it being here. And you have to just familiarize yourself with all the different things. I really like your sprinkler recommendation. It's not one that I had on there, but that is a really good one, because I've had clients also, especially when purchasing a new build or something that has recently had grass put in, where it's on a much more frequent watering schedule. And then they end up spending a lot of money on water.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
know your schedule.
Costco at times can sell that panel, and I think it has 12 stations. But if it's not there at that time, you can get it online. But I love it because you know how many gallons you're using. Like I own several houses, so I manage the sprinklers. I have set schedules for summer and winter, and you need a lot more water in the summer, so I'm able to schedule it from afar and change it from afar, and I love it.
That's
Whatever
amazing.
I can automate, I try to. I wish I could automate everything.
Yeah, I really like that.
It helps me leverage.
Yeah, save your time for other things.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on to number 5, check the safety. I think this one, sometimes people forget about it just in the busyness of moving in, but it's really important. Go around your house and check all the windows. Make sure that they're locked, especially if you have kids, maybe kids upstairs. Make sure the windows that are in reach of them are locked and safe. Replace batteries and smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. And even take the time to put some fire extinguishers around the house. You should have one in the kitchen and on each floor if you have a multiple story house. And then also consider an emergency kit. I'm kind of hypocritical saying this because I don't have an
I was like, I don't have one. I do have fire extinguishers, but
I do too.
I like that.
I also like the emergency kit. I read it and I was like, that's a good idea because I put it on here because we had the freeze recently and I didn't have everything like right there reachable. Like I wish I just had a box that had flashlights and just random batteries and things that I might have needed just ready to go right there.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good closing gift for people.
That's true.
But I was in Vegas at the Build Show, and my husband texted me and said, "Thank you for taking care of us. All the lights and all the batteries were right there." I texted him where everything was. And yeah, I mean, I can't say we were 100% because we had a generator, but it happened to be at a different house. That would have been even better.
That would have been
to
better.
have it at the right house. But
it never works like that.
Yeah, I did have extra water and food.
That's good. Yeah, I think just a small emergency kit. You don't have to get crazy with it, but
yeah,
just something small with, even like hand sanitizer or wipes or, different things like that. They have some good lists online.
I like that. So as far as replacing your batteries in the smoke detector, those batteries all typically go bad in the middle of the night and scare the heck out of everybody. And, in the newer homes, all the smoke detectors, they should talk to each other. So once one goes off, you've got the whole house blaring. And one thing we experienced years ago, we were staying at our friend's house. And they had really high ceilings.
I knew you were going to say that.
And it was awful. We were so excited. This house was amazing on Lake Austin, and we were so excited to stay there. But in the middle of the night, the smoke alarms, they were ringing smoke alarms, started going off and talking, and they would not shut off. And we didn't know where their ladder was. And it was a mess. I'm not saying I could have prevented that, but my house, I know I do go change them. I'm not perfect, but it's, even if you could get everything on a calendar or an app or something, that might be the best way to keep up with that.
Yeah. Just doing it on a regular basis and not waiting until they go out, especially if you have some that are up high on the ceiling. I think that's a great idea. And doing it when you move in, it makes it easy. You can kind of remember, I bought my house around this time. That's when I go in and I do this list of things. And that's one.
Put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
Number 6 is change your address. Notify the post office, your bank, your credit cards, any important parties of your new address. You probably would want to put a forward on from your old address for at least 6 months just to make sure you haven't missed anything. That's really a good way to do that. But in most companies, you can just go online, thank goodness, and go change your address. It's pretty easy. Yeah. I don't like the ones that make you call the 1-800 number. I think health insurance might be one of those. But yeah. I know I move a lot.
Yes, you should know. I think something that people don't realize is that you can put a forwarding on your mail, but it doesn't automatically change your address with everyone. They do get a notification, or sometimes they'll get like a return mail if you don't forward it right away. So sometimes it does kind of correct itself. But just because you forward your mail and you're getting it at the right address, if that forwarding time frame is up, then you could continue to not get your mail if you haven't changed your address.
Yeah. So one thing to know about forwarding is if you have a different last name than your spouse, or you have a business that goes to that address as well, you have to do separate change it forwards for each entity. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
I don't know why I expected everyone to just know.
Right. Everybody at this address moved.
Yeah.
But it's something that you don't really think about, that you have to do it one for each person that's receiving mail there. And then another note, like if you're moving into a home and you're still getting mail from the previous owners, you can talk to the post office and tell them to stop delivering mail there. So like every post office is a little bit different, and I think it even depends on the mail person that's delivering your mail. But like at my house, we just put a note inside the mailbox that said, please don't deliver these names here. They no longer live here. So that helps. I mean, at my house, I was getting stacks of mail for the previous owners for probably 2 years.
Okay. And not everyone's good about forwarding their mail or changing their address. I've definitely experienced that. Yeah.
So I feel like it goes for you moving into a new house, but then also dealing with the previous owners of a new house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I was actually still receiving mail for an owner that was 2 owners previous to the owner that we bought from.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah. I ended up meeting her. She was very nice.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you know what? The house we're in right now, that is how we ended up meeting the previous owners. Is they got a package or something, and maybe 6 months later or a year, I can't remember, but they wanted to see the house, and they came and saw it. It was a good opportunity.
That's awesome. That's a good story. Okay, so moving on, number 7 is get new keys, and this goes for mailbox and community amenities. Not every mailbox system works the same. It kind of depends on who owns the mailbox. That's who owns the keys. A lot of times you can go to the post office and get new keys. Some sellers will leave you the keys that they had. Yeah. We still recommend going and getting a new key. It just goes for everything else too. Yes. Like you never know if they made a copy and then they're able to get in the mailbox still.
Right.
And even the community amenities too. Some sellers will leave keys to the pool, but you're really supposed to go get your own keys from the HOA most of the time.
Next is update your insurance. If you didn't move in right away or you had a lease back, update as needed. Just make sure that's all good and make sure you're insured for the right amount.
And number 9, set up a maintenance schedule. We kind of already touched on this. I think the system that you use is the best system. Like that's what they always say. And I agree. I think it's so true. But this could include things like changing air filters, cleaning the gutters, servicing the HVAC system, septic maintenance if you're on a septic. And of course, there's a lot of other things. Smoke detector batteries.
Yeah, there's got to be a good app for this. I'm going to go find it.
We'll just make one maybe, huh?
Yeah, right.
Our next endeavor.
Yes.
Add more to our list. But if there is an app, try that. You could put it on a calendar. You can make it a calendar specifically for your house. There are lots of different ways that you could do this.
That's a good one. I like that.
If you have a home warranty company, there are also often some reminders that you'll get from your home warranty company. Like, hey, it's time to service your HVAC system. Go ahead and get that scheduled. So that kind of serves as a reminder too, but I think it's good to have it on your own system as well.
And I'm seeing more companies get into this field of business of home maintenance. And I'm drawing a blank on, but I just saw a truck yesterday of one of them, a new one that I'd never heard of. And then is it Home Fix or?
I was going to say Fixed.
Oh, okay.
F-I-X-D.
There's probably several. There was one in particular that my friend had used and had great experiences. I've been meaning to look into it, but just haven't. But that might be a good option if maybe you just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah. Or just the no. Like I think sometimes for people that are moving from other states, their maintenance looks very different from our maintenance. So
True.
it's hard to know exactly what you're supposed to be doing in a different area if you've moved from somewhere else.
True. So number 10 is meet your neighbors. It's always good to know who's around you, and you might need, help with something someday. And it's good for them to be able to look over each other's houses and just,
Yeah. I wasn't very good at this when I moved into my most recent house. It's been a few years now, but by now I've met all my neighbors, but I was busy moving in and didn't go introduce myself.
I'm never good at this.
You aren't? Okay.
No, but my husband is.
He's the one.
He's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of our other neighbors is really good at it, and she knows everybody like in the entire neighborhood.
Aww.
And I'm always impressed. Like, how did you meet them exactly? I think she probably adds them on Facebook or next door, or a mixture of things, but she's really great at that. And I did have a neighbor move in recently, and I went and introduced myself this time around. So I'm trying to be better about that one. I think it's great. It's good, especially when we have things happen like a freeze, or even just if you're going out of town, want to have a number to say, hey, could you go put my trash cans in? To call somebody else over. And then number 11, this one is very important. Store your documents from your closing in a safe place. I cannot tell you how many times we go to list a house and people don't know where their survey is, or maybe a previous inspection, and things get lost. So now in our day and age, you're able to get a physical copy. You're able to get digital copies of all your closing documents. And I opt for both. I know some people don't like.
I like digital
physical copies, but I like to just be able to stick it into a file cabinet and leave it and have it there. Digital clutter is also an issue for me.
I would have like a few file cabinets worth of all the different houses. But
I try to go through it like once a year and just sort out stuff that
good for you. I don't know when you have time for that, but yeah.
Me either. Late at night.
I try. I have good intentions, and I don't make it there.
So basically, whatever works for you, whether you are a digital person or you want physical or both, just keep a track of your documents. Know where they're at. Some people I know put it on a specific USB drive maybe, and keep that in a certain spot. So whatever you decide works for you, just know where your stuff is, so that if something comes up, maybe you want to replace your fence. And you need that survey to reference, and maybe you want to know who did the survey so you can call them out to do points online. Then, you have it there and you can find it easily.
Yeah.
That helps.
If you're enjoying the show, buying a house can be a stressful process, but these steps can help ensure a smooth transition. Good luck and enjoy your new home.
If you're enjoying the show, please take a moment to subscribe and leave us a positive... Okay. If you're enjoying the show, please take a moment to subscribe and leave us a positive rating and review. We really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today. If you have a real estate question you'd like for us to answer, all of our contact information is in the show notes. If you aren't in the Austin area and need to be connected with a real estate professional where you are, we can help with that too, so send us a message.
We're located in the Austin area and licensed in Texas under Realty Austin. While some of this information could apply to where you live, be sure and talk to a local agent in your area. Visit the show notes for more information and additional disclosures.